Hello, this is Georgie and I will be presenting my game. Uh, the idea of the game is that you are a shuriken. You go around the level picking up the stars to increase your scores. The score will increase in the top right corner. If you pick up the bomb or the shield, then you will get that pickup active within your inner circle. The time limit at the moment is 200 seconds, but for beta we are planning to see user feedback on should this time per level be increased or decreased. So the time is actually set by the server. So whenever the server is created, that's when the time limit stops. So if I were to now start another client, it would have the time that is represented here. You will also be spawning within the other top right area, and then player 3 and player 4 will be spawning in the bottom left and the bottom right areas. Now as you pick up the stars, your scores will increase, and if you collide with an enemy, depending on the collision, your score will either go down or theirs will go down. And the point of the game is for at the end of the match, at the end of the 200 seconds, to have the highest amount of points. Now, for beta, we are planning to creating level layouts, so there will be certain regions within the level that you will not be allowed to collide with, otherwise you will lose all of your scores. This will create a more difficult situation. We're also aiming to change, once a person hits, let's say 10 or 20 points, change the background and change the level layout. Also for beta we will be implementing the controller and improving upon the current sprites that we have. We'll also be removing any unneeded content that is at the moment stock within the project. Now I'll go through certain stuff that I did. This isn't the full list, as there were tiny single line or value changes, but rather full or large parts of it. So this is the code that I am using for decreasing the score. So whenever you collide with an enemy and you're the one that dies, it will decrease your score. Right. And then this is the input code. The input code that we originally had within the game was the turning. You use A and D to turn, and you use W and S to go forwards and backwards. However, this didn't really work for us, as a shuriken spins in all directions. So I had to change the code to allow for rather than rotation, but actually just multiply the vectors together to get a direction of both to the left, right, and up and down. This will give us a vector that will actually direct in the direction that we are meant to be going. And then afterwards there will be this is the code that I used for creating pickups. So one of the things that was really important for the game was the pickup system, where a player doesn't just die if he has a score, but rather than someone that might be behind can use a pickup to get ahead. So the idea is that whenever a pickup spawns, you can pick it up, and once you pick it up, a new one will spawn in a random position. Yeah. The other thing that I changed was where the location is for the player starts and the text starts. So originally the player would randomly spawn and the text would always be in the top left corner for the high scores. Now the text, as you saw in the demonstration, is correlating to which location. If you're player 1 top left corner, if you're player 2 top right corner, if you're player 3 bottom left, if you're player 4 bottom right. And then this is another thing that I implemented. It is the start timer. So the start timer works really interesting because you cannot get it, you cannot have it spawn at the client, because then all of the clients would be out of sync. So if someone joined earlier on, then he wouldn't actually have the entire 200 seconds, while someone else that joined later would have new 200 seconds. So once the first person actually finishes the game, the second one is still playing. So to combat this, I created it within the server. So whenever in the server you send whenever the server starts, that's when you first create the timer. Then once that sends and someone connects, that timer is sent on to as a welcome. It is sent on as a welcome message, as a welcome packet, where you are writing also the timer. So it makes sense since it's the first time joining, which also helps with the amount of data we have to send. We don't have to constantly send the current timer, but rather send it just at the start, so that then the client can actually cut down in their own time, since no matter if you're on the server or on the client, time will move in the exact same speed. Without actually having to send a packet each time, you're able to send over the timer only once and have it be synchronized across all machines. Yeah, so certain other things, this is on the server side of things. This is where each frame happens. So this is if the star counter goes down, then or if any of the counters for the pickups goes down, then a new one is created. This is also where the timer decreases each time on the server, and this is just to keep track of it. On the client, it is also done the same place. And then these are all the preset locations for all of the players to spawn. This way you don't have to, you'll always be spawning in the correct position, and also once you die you will respawn in the same location. So another thing that I did was change the style of the text. What I did for that was I took two texts, one in blue and one in red, and I layered them on top of each other. The one on the bottom I multiplied by 0.99%, meaning that it has a bit of an offset in its position with a smaller, creating a cool blue to red effect. So this is some of the collision stuff that I was involved with. This is whenever you pick up a pickup. It changes if it's the score counter, then it will increase the score counter by 1. If it is a bomb or a shield, then it will increase the bomb and shield it will give you the text, the B or the S with it, the center. This is something that I will need to work upon in beta because I don't feel that this is the right way of doing it. I wasn't able to implement it properly for alpha. However, I feel that with extra time I will be able to figure it out. This is how each of the pickups are all run through the basic pickup class, but each of them is different and each of them has a unique texture. However, I wasn't able to find a way of passing in their type, but only changing their type post creation. So I wasn't able to create a texture or assign a texture for them. So what I have it doing at the moment is each time the game updates, it adjusts the texture of the pickup to what it needs to do. For beta, this will definitely have to be changed and have to be fixed. Yeah, so this is some of the packet welcome handling. This is the large part of the collision code. Mostly it was Nicky that worked on it. I kind of, through testing, figured out a bit of little issues here and there and adjusted them. So first thing was I moved certain things in different orders so that some of the more advanced and rare to happen situations should be the first if statements, and then to the more common ones should be the last. These are the packets that I created for if a player on the server side of things picks up a shield, then everyone else should know that he picked up a shield or he picked up a bomb. So to allow for this, I created packets that will send over that this is how it is now, and so that it'll be synchronized across all clients. Okay, and that is all for my presentation.